is Friday. We love Fridays. What is going on, Fan Clan? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Danny Phantom. Happy Friday. I hope you guys are all doing well. Why do we love Fridays? Because Fridays are the official Danny Phantom reprint day for Evolving Skies. What that means is we are giving away a booster box of Evolving Skies literally every single week until the reprint for Evolving Skies finally comes, which right now is slated to be at the end of August. Thank goodness it's actually coming, because we've given away like 10 of these already, and we're going to give away like 12 more. Congratulations to Truth Teller with 2 exclamation points. I don't know why it's 2 exclamation points. Is it because like 1 was taken, so you had to go with 2? I'm just curious. So congratulations, Truth Teller with 2 exclamation points. Send me a message on Instagram at danny.phantom or on Twitter at danny__o. I just need your mailing information, your contact information, so I can get this bad boy in the mail to you, or you can shoot me an email with that information. That'd be great. If you want to win this, now is your chance, because we do it again. We're going to do it again and keep going. All you have to do is on this video, hit that like button and leave a comment down below, and then make sure you hit that subscribe button. You have to be subscribed to win. If that box down there is red with white text, you got to click that to make sure you're subscribed, and then you can win. Then come back next Friday. We're going to let YouTube's random comment picker do its thing, and then this could be your name next Friday instead of Truth Teller. I'll just do this point again, because I don't know why I do this, but we'll do that next Friday and see if you won. I'm really excited about today's video, and I know I say that a lot, but I did a lot of research. I put a lot of work, and luckily the data that I've compiled over the past year and a half while I've been recording videos has really come in handy. I want to talk to you guys today about price manipulation in the market, something that I posted about last week a couple times, kind of going over some of the cards from Astral Radiance and to be aware of price manipulation. Now, it's not something that happens in Pokemon very frequently, because for the most part, supply is there. And I know there might be some areas still, and we went through this whole dark age of Pokemon with the pandemic where things were getting bought out like crazy. I know times were rough and it was tough to find cards, but for the most part, Pokemon has always done a really good job of making sure that product is readily available. And it took them a little while because of distribution issues, but they've done their job. They've made sure product is available. There's product out there. You can find it at MSRP or cheaper in almost every instance. They've done their job of putting out a ton of products. So price manipulation isn't as readily, it doesn't occur as much in Pokemon as it does in other TCGs, but it does happen. And in the past, the majority of the times that it has happened has been more involved with competitive cards that might perform well at an upcoming event, or that did perform well at a recent event. You see those cards kind of skyrocket in price because a lot of people will buy out that card so that way they can relist it at a higher price point because they feel it's undervalued since it's performing so well at a regional event. Or there might be a group of players who are really good that buy out a bunch of cards and then hype up a deck. This is something that has gotten, there's dark sides to Pokemon. There's dark sides to everything, but who might buy out a bunch of cards of a bunch of a specific card and then hype up a deck containing that card so that way they can resell it at a higher price point. But it really started becoming an issue in Pokemon about a year and a half ago, and this is when Vivid Voltage kind of came out, Champion's Path came out, we were getting ready for Shining Fates, and there was just, shelves were empty, right? We had this issue where you couldn't find product in stores. A lot of people were having hard times finding sealed, so they were kind of resorting over to singles, and they started paying attention to different singles. Well, when it comes to price manipulation, there is a lot of thought that goes into it. There's a lot of research, a lot of data, a lot of people who are involved when it comes to this kind of stuff. And you can call it retail arbitrage, you can call it whatever you want, but there's Discord servers and Reddit threads and whatever you want to call it of people who get together kind of sharing information and making decisions to impact a market. And the good thing about Pokemon and the good thing about the Pokemon market is that a lot of times markets will correct themselves, but it does take time. So one of the biggest instances that this happened was when we had full art trainers kind of skyrocket in price about a year and a half ago. And you guys may remember what I'm talking about. A great YouTuber by the name of Twice Baked Jake did a YouTube video going over all of the full art trainers that he loves, talking about why he likes collecting full art trainers. And then right away, full art trainers got bought out like crazy. And a lot of people kind of blamed him for it. And I don't think it was necessarily him who made this happen, but I think it brought attention to some of these Discord servers, to some of these people who like to buy out certain objects to then make the price higher. So they may have saw that. They may have said, hey, this this is going to have a ripple effect. Let's go and buy out this market so that way it can cause a huge increase in these price points. And luckily, I kind of took track of all the price points then did a recap video 6 months ago of where the price points fell to, because like we said, a lot of times in Pokemon, markets will correct themselves. So you're going to see this giant skyrocket, but eventually, if the market is not, if it's not worth that, the market will come back down to earth. It will correct itself, which is what we saw happen in Pokemon. So I'm going to flip you guys around because I got some data that I want to share with you guys. I'm going to try and keep things quick because I got a lot of information here that I want to talk to you guys about. So I'm just going through, there's quite a few of them that I have listed here. I'm not going to go through all of these because there's so many of them. So if you go back and watch a video I posted in like January where I go over all of these full art trainers here that you see on the left hand side, go over their price point from January of 2021 and compare it to the price point of January 2022. So I took those and I compared it to the price point today, and I only took up the biggest differences in percentage points from a market value on TCG Player, and I put it together in a much nicer, easier to look at, so that way you guys know what I'm talking about form. So we're going to start off with Brigetti here. We're going to start off with Bridget. January 2021, it was worth $140. Now this was the price of the lowest near mint copy available. So this is right after the full art trainer buyout happened. So a bunch of full art trainers got bought out. The lowest near mint copy listed was $140. I have no idea who bought all the cards. It doesn't really show specifics about sales data. I don't know if they're the ones who listed it at $140 and that's what they wanted the price to go for. Whatever the case may be, $140 was the lowest near mint copy available in January of 2021. Fast forward a year, it went down to $16.99. That was the lowest near mint copy available in June of 2022. So just yesterday when I did this research, it was up to $20.87. So it's an 85% drop in a year. When you talk about investments and you talk about investing in Pokemon or whatever the case may be, even if you're not somebody who is big into investing, having your collection worth 85% less this year than last year is going to put a bad taste in your mouth. That's a very, very upsetting thing, because while you may not be interested in selling Pokemon cards now or anytime in the near future, down the road, years down the road, you definitely want your collection to be worth at least what you paid for it, if not a little bit more. You expect these things to mature over age. That's why they're collectibles, right? So June 2022, 2087, 85% drop in a year and a half. Blues Tactics was another one that was selling $96, was the lowest near mint copy on January of 2021. It went down to $21.13 in January of 2022, and then in June of 2022, $16.99. So you're looking at an 82% drop. If we look at the Pokemon Center lady from Vivid Voltage, this is an interesting one because this got bought out despite the set just coming out like 2 months prior, and we knew Vivid Voltage was kind of short printed for the demand, but we all assumed that it was going to get printed many, many more times, which it has, but it was $56.99 is what it got bought out up until that price point. And then in January of 2022, it went down to $14. And then just this month, it dipped down now to $10.99, which is an 81% drop in basically a year and a half span. If we look at Roller Skater, in January of 2021, it was $50. In January of 2022, it went down to $12.99. And then June of 2022, it went down to $12.49, 75% of a drop. TV Reporter, this is from Celestial Storm. In January of 2021, it was $70. In January of 2022, it went down to $20.83. And now in June it is $15.89, which is a 77% drop from its original point a year and a half ago. Lana was $90 in January of 2021, dropped down to $26.99 in January of 2022. Now it's sitting at $20.99, 77% drop. Jesse and James was a very, very interesting one. At one point in January of 2021, it was $17.99, went down to $5.61 last year. Now it's up 7 cents, so it's at $5.68. That's a 68% drop from where it was in January of 2021. The Underground Expedition was $60 in January of 2021, went down to $19.96. Now it's sitting at $19.99. It's a 67% drop. But the key points that I'm trying to point out to you guys, and I'll go through the rest of them here, is if you look at how much they've dropped or how much they may have gone up, because we are going to look at a couple that have increased in price over the last 6 months. This is what we call a market correction. So we're talking about all this boom that happened. And if you're in Pokemon for the long haul, you're going to be in really good shape moving forward, because a lot of cards have kind of settled. A lot of sealed product has kind of settled, where you may think, hey, maybe this is kind of the bottom right now. And right now we can start working on those decent collectible gains that we kind of want from our investment, or whatever you want to call it, your collection being worth what you kind of put into it. So a 67% drop for Underground Exposition. expedition. Then we've got Nita, which in January of 2021 was $50. It dropped down to $16.74, and now it's at $15.70, so that's a 69% drop. Professor Elm's lecture, January of 2021 was $69. In January of 2022, it was $25.44. Now it's sitting at $25.69, so a 63% drop in the last year and a half. Gardenia, $79.99 in January of 2021, $29.85 a year later, and now 6 months after that, it's sitting at $31.99. So it has gone up a little bit over the past 6 months, sitting at 59% right now. And then Marnie from Sword and Shield, this one's actually doing very, very well. January of 2021, it was $74.87, dropped all the way down to $30, and now it's climbed back up to $40.56. So a 46% drop of where it was a year and a half ago. We've got 3 more here that I just wanted to go through quick. Mallow, January of 2021, it was $39.99. Then it dropped down to $16.14 in January of 2022. Now it's sitting at $17.46, so that's a 56% drop. Mina, $65.99 in January of 2021, dropped all the way down to $26.77. Now it's sitting at $26.95. And then Skyla, in January of 2021, it was $59.98. Then a year later, it was $26. Now it's sitting at $26.18, which is a 56% drop from the past year and a half. If we look at the market now, the market is kind of evening out. So if you look at this $26, it's gone up 18 cents. Not good gains by any means, but it seems like the market price is kind of settling. So a lot of the times when these buyouts happen, people are like, for the most part, don't buy into that FOMO, because that's what we're talking about here. Don't buy into that FOMO. Just kind of be patient. Be patient, because a lot of these cards get reproduced many, many times. And that's why you're seeing not much of a price change over the past 6 months, but a drastic price change over the past year and a half when these cards did get bought out and a new market price being established. Wasn't bought that much after the fact, maybe had a few singles here and there. If some people were like, hey, I'm missing out, I got to get this full art trainer before it jumps up to $500. And all of a sudden it's settling down, because TCG Player is a race to the bottom all the time. That's one of the great things about TCG Player as a buyer, is that you have all these stores competing for you, the customer, to give you the best price and encourage you to buy from them and establish that relationship. So you're constantly going to see sellers on TCG Player always trying to price under the lowest near mint copy. So that way it's a race to the bottom. They can sell their card, hopefully not lose money, and start establishing a new business relationship with the customer. So now we start seeing these updated market pricing, this updated market where, because things have settled, things have corrected themselves. So I wanted to talk about the cards from Astral Radiance, and I want to start off with Machamp here. I'm going to increase this a little bit so you can see it a little bit better, but we want to start talking about Machamp V, because this one's really important here. And I didn't pull it up on the graph like I do have pulled up with the other 3 that we're going to review in just a second, but I want to talk about the Machamp V, because this was pre-ordering right for about $50 to $60, somewhere around there, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it got bought out like crazy. And a lot of thought was like, hey, is this getting bought out? Is a lot of cards from Astral Radiance getting bought out? Now, there's 2 schools of thought. Are people not getting Machamp V because they're just not opening Astral Radiance? Because we know the pull rates for it are pretty equal to the other alternate arts in the set. When we start looking at huge data forms, we know Machamp V is printed just as much as the other ones. The artwork is crazy good. Or is this a market issue where people bought out this copy because they thought it was priced at the wrong price, and then they're relisting it at a higher price point, and now people are starting to be like, hey, I don't want to miss out and have it go up to $175 or $200. I'm going to buy it now at $140, $150. So if we look at Machamp V, 55 copies of these sold on TCG Player from May 27th to May 29th. So Astral Radiance came out on May 27th. So that opening weekend, we had 55 of them sell. 55 copies. 54 of them sold for under $60, and 1 of them sold for $79.99, which is $80. So 54 of those 55 copies sold for less than $60. Since then, since May 29th, so you are looking at, what, 10 days? We're talking about 3 days, 55 of them sold. In 10 days now, 76 have sold, most between 120 and 130. So there was a giant increase where all the cards listed on TCG Player for Machamp V were all $60 up to $80 at the most, and then all of a sudden, boom, they get relisted at 120, 130. That's when you start thinking, hey, there might be a buyout that's involved here. Now, the fact that this hasn't sold nearly as much as what it did for the first 3 days means to me, and this is my school of thought here, that this is an overpriced card. And I could be wrong. It could backfire, and it might blow up even more. but this is an overpriced card because it's not selling as much, which means people are sitting on copies of this, waiting for it to kind of maintain its value or increase a little bit in value. They're going to start racing to the bottom to bring that price down. I think this is an $80 card, maybe a $90 card. I compare it a lot to like the Blaziken VMAX from Chilling Reign, which in my mind was probably the best alternate art in Chilling Reign. I think Machamp V is the best alternate art in Astral Radiance. I compare it to that. I also think maybe the Galarian Moltres from Chilling Reign, very, very great artwork, but still sells for about $90 to $100. That's what I think Machamp V is worth. So I think it's a little overpriced right now, and I do think it is going to go down as we get more Astral Radiance product being opened up. We still have product boxes that are selling for, you know, $110. We still have a lot of collection boxes that are coming out that are having Astral Radiance in it. So more of these copies are going to be pulled. So if you don't have this card yet, be patient, wait a little bit. I think it's going to come down. You're going to see it closer to that $80, $90 price point very soon. The other cards, and I just wanted to pull up a few other ones from the set. Starmie V. For the first part, Starmie V, when I posted last week, I thought maybe this one is getting bought out because it seemed very, very strange to me, the sudden explosion of this specific card. However, I might be changing my mind a little bit because if we look at the graph here, so if we look at the graph of where it went down to, so at one point it was down to 32.69. Now it's currently sitting at 46.27. So it gained about $14 over that span. This is a TG card, TG13. So it's in the back half of the Trainer Gallery set, which means it's printed less than the first half of that Trainer Gallery set, which means it's a little bit harder to pull. It's going to be closer to a full art pull when it comes to percentages or chances to pull this specific card. So it's a little bit more difficult to pull. The artwork is a fan favorite. People love this. They think it's the best Trainer Gallery card from this set, if not from this set and Brilliant Stars combined. A lot of people really enjoy the card artwork. And if you look here, when we're starting to talk about market correction, you see all these prices that are listed between $40 and $50 means that we're not seeing a whole lot of undercutting going on. But the main thing that I wanted to look at is sales data, and this is stuff that you can find on TCG Player when you're looking at buyouts and trying to research things on your own. If you start looking and adding up the sales in here, so you can see there's a lot of sales from June 9th, there's a lot of sales from June 8th, there's a lot of sales from June 7th, there's a lot of sales from June 6th, all the way down, and we keep going down, loading more sales. If we take this all the way down to the release date, which is 5/27, when this card was selling between $30 and $35 a piece, so you can see here, bringing it all the way down to, okay, $36.79 here. That's on May 30th. And if we go down even a little bit more than that, $35 on $31.30. Here we go. $31.30 on May 30th, $31 on May 28th. So you can just see there's just a lot of copies that are being sold every single day, which to me makes me think, hey, this is actually priced fairly well because the demand is there for this specific card, which is why you have a numerous amount of sales every single day. As you start looking at this data and seeing this card sell for less and less, or sell less and less quantity on a daily basis, then you can start thinking, okay, now this card might be overpriced a little bit because it's not selling as fast, it's not selling as much, there's not as much demand for it. So I'm going to hold off on it and wait for it to come down a little bit because right now I think it's overpriced. So this one in specific, I do think, okay, maybe not necessarily a buyout, does seem to be going pretty well and holding ground. Maybe it just was mispriced and a lot of people took advantage. They bought it because they wanted it, and bada boom, bing, bada boom. Beedrill V was another card that went up quite a bit in price. It was $24-ish as an alternate art. It jumped up to about $45, $46 basically overnight. I do like the artwork a lot. This one, probably the same thing, maybe not necessarily a buyout, and it's very difficult to buy out new cards from a new set because of the sheer amount that are being opened. But again, if you look at the sales history, again, just a lot of sales that kind of happened, and there wasn't a giant change in price. When you're going from $24 to, let's say, $43, $44, and you're talking about a $20 price difference right there. So if you buy out this card, you're buying out all the copies between, let's say, $24 and $30, and then you're paying 13% fees on top of that, and you're paying shipping, and you're selling for $42, $44, so you're looking at $14 profit, and then you add in shipping, you add in taxes, you add in fees, all that stuff, you might be making like $4 or $5 at the most on this card, so probably not worth it for a lot of people. The other one is the Hisuian Sneasler. This one continues to be different than the other two that we looked at because it's still gaining price points. If you look here, it's just continuing to go up. The artwork is phenomenal. I think more and more people are just falling in love with it. it, and that's why it's selling so well. Every single day there's more sales. It's just kind of beating out the last price point, so I don't think this one was necessarily a buyout either. As you can tell, there was one that sold for $48, but for the most part, these are just selling very well. Some of these Astral Radiance alternate art cards are just selling really well. It just seems like the demand is there. So I do think the buyout is actually the case for the Machamp V. I think that's priced very, very high. But these other three cards here, the Starmie V, Beedrill V, and Hisuian Sneasler V, probably not necessarily the case. Mostly just a demand change. But it is something that I wanted to give you guys kind of an awareness of, and then really show you the tools of what you need to look at to kind of maybe make a determination of whether or not a buyout is occurring, so that way you protect yourself and make the best decisions possible when it comes to spending your collection dollars, because that's what it's all about, right? That's what's important. We want to make sure that we protect your money, protect your investment, and make sure that you can have more money to invest into cards and invest into this great game. So I hope you appreciate the data. I hope you appreciate the information. If you do, please hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a like, leave a comment. It goes a long way for the algorithm. Thank you so much for everything. You guys are amazing. I really appreciate you. Until next time, peace.